Hey guys, Greg again here with Bambu. So I wanted to give you a quick overview of what it's like inside a deal. I'm going to come back here to the home screen where you can see all the deals right here. I'm just going to click on one of them. And so you click at the text there, it's actually a link, it brings you inside the deal. So this video I'm just going to give you kind of navigation and then subsequent videos will explain what all of the stages actually are. So first of all, foremost at the top here, you've got, again, it's very kind of CRM type information. So you can see the name of the account. That's simply the company, right? So um, we're making, we will have made up some fake companies for you. Just so happens that's a real company, and this is a friend of mine who actually works there. But I was trying to create companies. It's harder than you think. So, but the point is that they're fictitious. For all intents and purposes, they do not exist. They're just companies that we've come up with. And your role as a sales rep for Velocity Rockets to sell your pipeline management CRM tool into that company. So that company name will show right here. Over here, you're going to have the main contact. So this is the actual individual who's interested. So in your cases, it's going to be a case that maybe they met one of your marketing people at a conference, or they filled out the contact me form on your website, something like that. There's some reason why this person is in the system here as an inbound lead. The scenario will guide you through that. Over here is the amount. So this is whoever uploaded the deal into the system. They have to give it some kind of dollar amount. The chances are this is not correct, right? So it's your job as a sales rep, once you start having a conversation with this person, is understanding what are their actual needs, and then you're gonna have to price it out, right? So if they're if they need 10 widgets and the widget costs $10, you put 100 there, right? So that's a simplistic way of doing it, but you'll have a pricing guide and you'll have to update that as the deal progresses and you learn more about what they actually need. And then finally, the due date is when is this deal due to close? So it's very important in sales to forecast deals. Management's always looking at what's coming down the pipeline, what can they expect to have come in. So that's the due date. So you'll have to pick a date as when you think it will close. Again, you can change this at any point. You just click right here and pick a new date. Same with these. These are all inline edited, right? So you just click and change and it saves. You don't really have to pay attention to this. This is like a bit of a machine learning thing. It's just checking out the speed of the deals that are going through your pipeline, and are we past due on the due date? These deals are from last September, October kind of time frame, so there's a lot of alerts, right? So because we haven't touched it since then, um, but this is really for professional sellers, so we just minimize that. Don't worry about that too much. Then when you come down here, we get into the sales process. So we're actually in the qualify and assess stage. So this girl, LaShawn, she was running this opportunity. It looks like she kind of messed up here and went ahead before she'd finished all the things she had to do. So again, you've got those three main stages. So a deal, typically, you've got a lead stage up here, or a prospect stage that would come before this. We're not having you do that. We're also not having you do the follow-up kind of account management stuff. We're testing you or helping you learn rather more about the meat of the opportunity in the middle. It's these three main stages. So that's why we're starting with qualify and assess. Basically, you're going to have these kind of we call them steps, like within each sales stage. There's going to be steps that you have to complete, and so for qualify and assess, we've got these listed out here, and we'll go into each stage in detail later. This is just what they had to do. I'm going to change this for you guys. I'm actually going to make it easier, but it's a simple check-off list. Now, in some cases, it might mean that there's a form you have to fill out in order to be able to check off. So, for example, it's very important in a qualifier stage to understand the budget, who's got the authority to buy, the timeline of the deal, that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is give you a form that's going to look something like this. It might even be this exact thing. It just pops up when you click this blue bar here. Um, and it's something for you to catch your notes, right? So when I'm on a discovery call, I'm talking to a new client, a new university, I've got something like this in my own system. It's simply a way to structure my call and to keep my notes. So when we're doing our feedback and we're giving you some coaching, we're going to be looking here to make sure you're actually filling these things out, because it's really, really important in sales to take good notes. It's really tempting to just think, oh, I'll remember everything they said, and you never do. So that's really important. So I will give you an update probably close to the time, or give your professor something to put in Blackboard or D2L, updating on the exact things that you have to do along the way, and we'll talk about that later. You've then got things that they're called mandatory steps or verifiable outcomes. These are things that you absolutely have to do before you can move your deal to the next step. So when you complete all those, that would go green, and then it puts you into this step. Oops. Yeah, so it's given me an error message because I haven't actually completed everything. So that's kind of the guide around that. So then you come down to the bottom. Well, actually, real quick, back up here, there's a few buttons on the left. Attachment is like when you're ready to sign your deal. When we're in negotiate and close, present and propose, we'll talk about this more, but you have to attach the proposal, right? So you're going to build a contract or a statement of work or something and attach that there. These are just grading sheets, right? So we've got one for each sales stage. So if you come in here, I'm not sure if I filled this. Yeah, I didn't actually. So we're going to build probably a new one of these for you, but it's basically going to have a drop down. We're going to have a skill over here, and we're going to say, okay, they demonstrated it well, or they need practice. It might be that we have a scoring thing. We're going to have free text here. As the buyer, like I would say, yep, they did a really great job. They probably need to work on their questioning a bit better. Maybe build more rapport at the beginning of the call. Things like that. So just general information, giving you a little bit of feedback on how to improve. So that's what those are about. So these are for your buyers to fill out. You don't have to fill these out, but there'll be one for each stage. So then we come down there, and this is where literally all the actions take place. So firstly, you've got the messaging. So with this, again, I mentioned like you might want to start off. Excuse me. You might want to start your opportunities by sending an email. That's where you'll do it. So we'll talk about sending emails in the next one. You've got a timeline. It just gives a kind of chronological order of how things have gone with the deal, just to give you and your professor and us an idea. Okay, this deal is actually moving. You've got a scheduling widget right here. We'll get into that a little bit later. Meeting. So every time you schedule a meeting, it's going to list it here. It looks like she never actually put one in the system there. And then finally notes. Now this is somewhere where you can keep your actual notes going. So you can see she actually did a pretty good job here of putting all her notes in. So that's really great. That's something we're looking for. Something to note here that we might change is that we might put the actual scenario in here. So there might be a new tab, or we might just put it here. So like, for example, it says admin added a note here. This is just these are the notes that LaShawn was dealt with. So when she started the program, all she knew is this is a venture capital firm, and that was it. They requested contact online. That's all we know. And it's likely you'll get similar scenarios to that, where the information is quite vague, and it's your job to pick up from there and elicit as much information as you can on that first discovery call. So we'll either have the scenario displaying right in here for you. So that'll be the first place you need to go check on each opportunity is in this note section. Or we might be adding a new tab right here that just says scenario, and that's where that piece of information will live. So hopefully I covered everything there. I don't know if I moved too quick. Again, we're going to come back and kind of hone in on some of these things in more detail later. So for the time being, real quick, ignore this. This is a trophy thing. It gives all the people, all the reps in the system points based on their activity. It's not a chart of how well you're doing. It's just how active you've been inside the tool. So the best in the program last year was absolutely this guy, Robert Snyder. He was a stud. He's the one in that video you might have seen. It's talking about how great his experience was with the tool. These two were just more active inside of it, so they got more points. But don't worry about that. That's not. There's no bearing there on on how well you're performing. There might be a slight correlation, but that's about it. So again, yeah, I'll pause there and we'll pick up again in the next video.